Hi, welcome to Family Steam Popcorn. If you got a popcorn kit, then that's what you'll use to do this experiment. If you didn't pick up a kit, you can still try popping popcorn with grocery store popcorn, or if you can get your hands on this is what we used. It's called Poppin' Cobs, and the coolest part, look where the popcorn came from. It's from right here in Indiana. So, the first thing we're going to do is use the scientific method. What do you observe about this popcorn? And you can get some more background information from the story that we're going to read in just a minute. And there's background information about popcorn in here in your packet. All right, next you need to think of what question you want to answer about popping popcorn. Maybe, how does the popcorn pop? Maybe, will this even make popcorn? Do you think it'll work or not? Or do you think this popcorn is going to taste different than popcorn that you get at the movie theater? Next, you need to make your hypothesis. A hypothesis is your educated guess about the answer to your question. And an educated guess means you'll use what you observed about popcorn, what you learned from this video, and what you saw in the packet to help you make your hypothesis. All right, the funnest step is to test your hypothesis. So the instructions are here on the bag. This is how you do it, and you need to follow the instructions very carefully. You remove the cob from the bag. Next, you place your poppin' cob in the brown popcorn bag and fold over the end of the bag. Put it right in there. And then fold over the end. And next, we're gonna microwave it on high for 1.5 to 2 minutes and stop when you can hear 1 to 2 seconds between the pops. While I microwave this, we are going to read Popcorn Country. Popcorn Country, the story of America's favorite snack, by Chris Peterson, and photographs by David R. Lundquist. How do you like your popcorn? Bathed in melted butter, kettle cooked with sugar and salt, slathered in gooey caramel, or gobbled by the bucket at the movie theater? Any way you munch it, popcorn is one of America's favorite treats. Every year, we devour 4.5 billion gallons of the stuff. That's enough to fill the Empire State Building from top to bottom 18 times. But America's love of popcorn isn't half as amazing as how it is grown and turned into the best snack there is. Popcorn comes from the land of wind turbines and flat as a pancake prairie. This part of our country is called the Corn Belt, a swath of fertile land that reaches from Ohio to Nebraska. Over 90 million acres of corn are grown each year in the United States, but only a tiny portion of that is popcorn. There are 4 kinds of corn grown in the United States: dent corn, also called field corn, sweet corn, flint corn, and popcorn. Most of the corn you see while traveling through the Midwest is dent corn, and it is grown mainly to feed livestock such as cattle, hogs, and chickens. Its ears are usually larger than the other kinds of corn, and its kernels become indented when the corn is dried. That's why it's called dent corn. You can't pop dent corn. Sweet corn is the type that we eat right off the cob. It contains more sugar than any other corn. The sweet corn plant is usually a bit shorter than dent corn, and the ears are picked when the kernels are tender and juicy. You can't pop sweet corn either. Flint corn, which is sometimes called Indian corn, is named for its hard kernels and comes in a multitude of colors. It is a close relative of popcorn, but it doesn't pop very well. Popcorn has the smallest ear of all. When the corn is ready to harvest, the kernels are shiny, golden, and hard as rocks. You can't eat popcorn unless it is popped. Popcorn seeds are planted in April or early May. The long, straight rows of popcorn will be knee-high by the 4th of July. By August, the field will be a jungle of rigid green stalks, rustling leaves, and skittering bugs. Roots reaching over 6 feet into the ground pull moisture and nutrients into plants that stretch so tall they could tickle the chin of a young giraffe. That's about 10 feet tall. It takes 25 inches of rainfall to grow a crop of popcorn. By fall, the popcorn is ready to pop. And boy, can it pop. If all 20 million kernels of popcorn on 1 acre of land, about the size of a football field, popped at once, piles of the white, fluffy snack would cover the ground like 4 inches of snow. But popcorn can't pop right out of the field. It first has to be harvested. Giant mechanical harvesters, called combines, roll across the prairie and separate the ears of corn from the plant. The dry leaves that cover the ears are called husks. The husks and pieces of cob are discharged from the back of the combine as the gold kernels are shelled from the cobs. The kernels pour into the grain tank at the top of the combine. Then, trucks haul the popcorn to a processing facility where 160 million kernels per truckload are unloaded into big silver bins. The popcorn is conditioned or dried in the bins to just the right amount of moisture for popping. Next, the popcorn travels on a conveyor belt to the processing room, where the grain dances across jingling screens that shake broken kernels and pieces of corn cob out of the popcorn. Then it travels to a vibrating gravity table. Big blowy fans cause the grain to tumble in the air. The lighter popcorn kernels and any remaining bits of husk and cob fall away, and only the just right kernels stay on the machine. The kernels fly by an electronic eye that checks for uniform color. If a kernel is discolored, a blast of air shoots it off the processor. Finally, the popcorn is ready to test for poppability. A half pound of every truckload of popcorn is tested in a specially designed kettle-style popper that looks like the poppers you see in movie theaters. The testing lab smells like a movie theater lobby. As the waterproof hull, or the outside of the kernel, heats up in hot oil, the little bit of moisture inside it turns to steam, and the steam softens the starch in its center. The pressure inside the kernel builds and builds until the temperature reaches 347 degrees and the starch turns to liquid. Then, boom, it explodes. The tiny steam-powered bomb pops inside out. In a fraction of a second, it cools and solidifies into a crunchy treat. The popped corn is then poured into a large tube to measure its volume. If the moisture in each kernel isn't just right, the popcorn won't pop big enough to meet the standards set by the processor. When it passes the poppability test, it is ready for the final packing step. The popcorn kernels are ready to bag and ship out. Some popcorn is packaged in microwave bags. Some is poured into jars for movie theaters, sports venues, and grocery stores. And much of the popcorn is loaded into 1-ton tote bags that look like giant white building blocks. The totes travel by truck to the Great Lakes, where they are loaded onto container ships and sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to countries all over the world. Some totes travel on barges down the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico, where more container ships are waiting. The United States produces nearly all of the world's popcorn. The magical sound of popcorn popping and the irresistible aroma of the heaping bowl of fluffy, flaky goodness is a treat nearly everyone enjoys. One of the most loved snacks in the world explodes into buttery deliciousness and makes parties, movies, and carnivals extra special. America is popcorn country, and popcorn is America's gift to the world. The end. Perfect timing. It smells amazing. Oh no! My bag busted open. Let's taste it. After you test your hypothesis, you can record your results, like whether your hypothesis was correct or what happened. I'm going to record that my bag wasn't closed tight enough and it popped all over the microwave. And don't forget to share your results. You can share them with us at the library. You can call up your grandma and tell her. It's fun to share your knowledge. I hope you have fun and I hope you have a tasty snack.